Kwalela TV 47KE. We'll be looking at some of the comments that you will drop us this evening. One thing I'll tell you for sure is that every other time I have heard this conversation about, just weight loss, most of the people are so interested because perhaps it's a journey that many people have walked, are walking, or are planning to walk. So that's exactly what we'll be looking at. And our point this evening, or our focus this evening, will be on how best we can tackle overweight and obesity. That's basically the journey of weight loss. And of course, we are just looking at equitable health strategies to this. And as I have mentioned, or earlier mentioned, we have medics right here, we have nutritionists, we have those ones that are more of nurse practitioners that are going to guide us as to how you can walk this journey. But equally, one of them doubles up as, the case study tonight, that she has been through that journey, perhaps still through that journey, and it is working just fine. Just why is it? Do you think that it would not work for you? This conversation comes at the backdrop of, a declaration by the World Health Organization that Kenya as well gets into that space of the many other countries that are obese. Why this? One would want to ask. We keep talking about the high cost of living, we keep talking about hunger cases, but still we are obese. What is this that informs the same? The latest published cross-sectional, that is household survey in the country, indicates that about 27% of the adult population is overweight or obese. What is even shocking is that they say by the time it's 2030, then of course we'll be looking at an extra, this trickling down to the level of children, a country that is obese. Perhaps we can change those statistics to something better. Hence the reason why I have with me this evening Anne Wamwiri, who's an aesthetic nurse practitioner at ANP. Thank you so much for creating time. What is ANP in full?
Aesthetic nurse practitioner.
Oh, that is basically it. Okay. I thought it's something to do with the entity that you work with. What entity do you work with?
Scene Plastics.
Sorry?
Scene Plastics.
Scene Plastics.
Yes,
of course, we'll be getting to understand some more what that is all about. But as well, we have Dr. Lance Mayabi, who's a general laparoscopic. I got it right? Bariatric, yes, surgeon. These ones are tongue twisters, so you will forgive some of us. I'm sure most of us actually would not be able to, just pronounce this just by looking at that. Thank you so much. This one is another one that gives me the hardest of moments when I try to, pronounce. So today I'm going to try read it so well. Anesthesiologist. I got it right.
Anesthesiologist.
Oh, man. Dr. Amal Shatta, thank you so much for creating time. They'll be telling us what it is that they do and why we have termed it necessary to have them as we have this conversation of weight loss. This one is the easiest. This one is the easiest to pronounce. Of course, we have Mika Kibera, who's a clinical nutritionist. Thank you so much for creating time to be with us. Who is doubling up as our case study? Anne is doubling up as our case study tonight. And of course, she'll share her journey up to, this level where she looks all rosy, lovely, and more of a flower tonight. Thank you so much again, ladies and gentlemen, for creating time to be with us. Dr. Lance, shocking statistics, I would say. I haven't even mentioned basically everything that has been highlighted on this. But of course, the data clearly tells us that we have come to a point where then we need to see the importance of addressing obesity as a public health concern in Kenya. I almost labeled it, a national crisis, I'd say. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think where we stand from is because being overweight and progressing to obesity actually predisposes you to many of the non-communicable diseases that you have.
Yeah.
Specifically high blood pressure, diabetes, arthritis of many forms, and also just a low self-esteem that leads to depression and things like anxiety disorders.
Right.
Yeah.
What are some of the notable ways that one then can, speak and perhaps healthy ways or medical ways that we can get to address, obesity, to address overweight, or perhaps to walk that journey of weight loss?
I think the entry point is usually just the weight first.
Mm-hmm.
You want to look at what other comorbidities someone may have. Are they diabetic, hypertensive? Do they have depression that could be causing body image issues? Are they having arthritis at maybe are requiring a hip or a knee replacement, are they having chronic back pain? That's usually the entry point. Then once that happens, then what I usually say is weight loss is usually based on 3 things. The main one is still nutrition. I think Mika can speak about that later. Yeah. Secondly is activity. So what's recommended for people above 25, usually at least 30 to 40 minutes of formal exercise, at least 4 to 5 times in a week.
Okay.
The other, lastly, which is also a big problem with our generation, is actually quality sleep. So quality sleep is not the amount of hours you've slept, it's actually waking up feeling refreshed. What this means is majority of us will actually go to sleep with our phones, so we tend to not have a moment where we are winding down. Yeah. And the next thing, the phone is next to you. So when you wake up in the middle of the night, you tend to look at the first thing and start scrolling and find that every time has gone. By the time you're going back to sleep, then you're not waking up quite tired. You will notice that when you sleep, you tend to wake up and uncover yourself. And this actually, if you look at the data, at that point when you're having your deep sleep, what we call rapid eye movements, then you tend to burn calories in deep sleep. So when you wake up refreshed, it's one of the things we have seen in our practice and experiences. Sometimes the nutrition is done right, our client is also exercising, but I really found that the problem is actually sleep.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we get to the ladies, allow us to loop in Mika here, now that you mentioned the importance of nutrition in this whole conversation. Just how much of a percentage, or just the magnitude as to